Hey everyone! So just to continue where we left off creating King Bob, designed by Jess Davies, also known as CraftLover17 on Instagram. To review, these are the supplies that you're going to need to create him. So I mentioned it in part 1 already. And to review that this crown, none of the supplies are mentioned here. This will be separate. I haven't got to that part yet. So I do hope you enjoy. And let's continue. Now we're going to create the foot, and I'm going to show you how to do one, and then you're going to pause the video and make yourself another one. So I'm going to start off with the black color, and I'm going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you want to pull 7 bands through, one at a time. So you're going to reach in, grab your first band to bring through, put the other end on your hook. You have 2 loops, bring your loop over and bring your band to the side. Go back in for your second band to pull through, on your hook, and 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. Again, bring your band through, on your hook, 3 loops, bring the 2 over and bring it to the side. And now you just want to continue. And attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. Remove off the loom and you should have 7 stitches. So just move your bands around so that they're nice and even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 is on your hook. For round 2, we're going to add 2 bands to each chain. So we're increasing on each chain around. So the pattern is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. At the end of round 2, you will have 14 stitches. So let's go on our first chain. We're going to add 2 bands, one at a time. Bring it through your chain, on your hook, and slide. Going back in that same chain for your second band, pull through, on your hook, and slide. So now moving on to the next chain with 2 bands, one at a time. Back in that same chain for your second band. And then the next chain, same thing, 2 bands, one at a time. Back in. And now just continue all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. So you should have 14 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase on every 7th stitch. So at the end of round 3, you're going to have 16 stitches. So you're going to start off with doing 6 single crochets, 1 band in the first 6 chains, and then on your 7th, you're adding 2. You're going to repeat this 2 times. So let's go on our first 6 chains, adding 1 band. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, chain 4, chain 5, chain 6, and now chain 7, you're going to add 2 bands one at a time. Back in, and repeat the pattern. 6 single crochets, and your last stitch where your stitch marker is, you're adding 2 bands. My last stitch. So again, you should have 16 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to do 16 single crochets and only grabbing the inside loop only. So you're not going through the chain, you're just going to grab the stitch that's closest to the center. And you're going to add 1 band to each all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. So let's grab our first inside loop, not where it's getting pulled. And you're going to bring your band through your inside loop, on your hook, and slide. The next inside loop with 1 band. The next. So just continue until you get to the stitch marker. So again, you should have 16 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 5, still with using the black, we're going to do 16 single crochets, and you're going through the chains. So let's go in our first one. At the end of this round, you should still have 16 stitches. So let's go in our first chain. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Bring your band through your chain, on your hook, and slide. So just 1 band in each chain, 1 single crochet. You just want to continue all the way around until you get to your stitch marker. You should have 16 stitches still. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 6, we're going to make this round smaller. So at the end of round 6, you're going to have 14 stitches. So how we're going to do that is we're going to start off with 4 single crochets, so 1 band in the first 4 chains. Then we're going to do an invisible decrease, but we're going to do it with 3 stitches. So I'm going to do an invisible decrease, grabbing 3 of the stitches. Then I'm going to end with 9 single crochets, so 1 band in the last 9 chains. So then you will have 14 stitches. So I'm going to do 4 first. I'm going to go in the first 4 chains, adding 1 band. So not where it's getting pulled. chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, and chain 4. Now in the next 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to do a slip stitch to each of those chains and keeping the end on my hook. So at the end you'll have 4 of these chains on your hook. So let's go on our next chain and we're going to do a slip stitch with 1 band. And leave it on your hook. Go to your next stitch, do a slip stitch, leave it on your hook. And then the next chain, a slip stitch. So you have 4 loops. This is how we're decreasing 3 stitches at once. So now you're going to, with the loop at the end of your hook, you're going to slide. Now you have 9 stitches left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, where your stitch marker is. You're adding 1 band to each of those chains. So to repeat, you should have 14 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 7, this is the pattern. We're going to do 3 single crochets, so adding 1 band in the first 3 chains. Then we're going to do an invisible decrease, so that's 4 and 5 together, but I'm going to do that invisible decrease, so I'm adding an extra band. Then you're going to do 5 single crochets with black. Then you're going to do 4 single crochets, and I'm changing the color to blue on the last 4 stitches. Now, at the end of round 7, you're going to have 13 stitches. I am not going to do a slip stitch when I change the colors. I'm just going to let it go. That's up to you. I thought it was at the back and it really doesn't matter. So it's up to you if you want to do that slip stitch so that black band doesn't show right there. That's up to you. So I'm going to add 1 band to the first 3 chains, not where it's getting pulled. I'm going to start in my first chain, bringing a band through and slide. Chain 2 with 1 band. Chain 3 with 1 band. Now I'm going to do the invisible decrease to the next 2 chains. So I'm going to go in my next chain, do a slip stitch, and leave it on my hook. The next chain, same thing, slip stitch, 3 loops, and you want to just slide. Now 5 single crochets, so 1 band in the next 5 chains. Oops. So now you should have 4 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You just want to add 1 band to each, and I'm changing to blue. So I'm just going to crochet normally. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band. You should have 13 stitches. For round 8, we're just going to do 13 single crochets, but only grabbing the inside loop only. So be careful where you grab. If you can't see, just open it up all the way around, and then you'll see where you're grabbing. So I'm using 13 bands. Now I'm going to go on my first chain, not where your blue is coming from, and I'm just going to grab that one loop that's facing the center of the shoe, the inside. So I'm not going through all, I'm just grabbing the first one. Bring your band through that inside loop on your hook and slide. And the next one, if you can't see, just open it up, grabbing the inside loop, bringing your band through just the inside loop and on your hook and slide. Now just continue all the way around till you get to that stitch marker. You can see I'm grabbing the inside loop. I've reached the blue area. So you should have 13 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 9 and 10, you're going to do 13 single crochets, so adding one band to each chain around. When you get to your last band on round 10, you're going to do that slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to do that in 1 second, and then we're going to add some stuffing. You're going to add some stuffing, just a little bit. Now let's start with round 9. You're going to go in the first chain, bring your band through on your hook and slide, and then just continue around. Each pile I have 13 elastics. So this is the last band. I'm going to remove my stitch marker, add it to the band that's around my hook. And you're going to pause the video to complete round 10, but for a second, just so you know, with your last band on round 10, you're going to do that slip knot to tie it closed. So bringing it through all of the chains on your hook, grab the end, tie it closed, remove your stitch marker, and then just add a little bit of stuffing. You just want the form to have it sturdy. You don't want the bottom of the foot looking like that. There's a base, so you want it flat. So you want to make sure, put on your hand, make it flat. Add a little bit more for the leg area. You just don't want all the bands showing through like that. You just want enough to get the form of the foot. He's not going to stand, so you don't need to try to get that effect, as stuffed animals really don't stand. So we just want the form, just like that. So please pause the video and continue with round 10 and come back to me when you're done. Now what we're going to do is sew the legs on to the bottom, and I'm going to do both with you. So right now, what we're going to do is the first thing, I'm going to do this side first. Make sure that you see where the back is and you want the front of the leg facing forward. So with your hook, I'm going to fold, okay, first with the leg, you want to fold it in half, and you're going to see the stitch on this front here that's going sideways. Count to the left, 1 stitches, 1, 2, and 3, and that's where you're going to start. So put your hook through, and now find your magic circle. So here's my magic circle in the center, and I'm going to go to the side of the body. So with this at the back, I'm going to go to the side, 1 stitch. And I'm going to use blue bands to sew this on. I'm going to bring my first band through. Pretty sure I'm using 13 bands. And you're going to slide. Now, I'm working in the center of the body here, straight down. I'm going to go to the next stitch right beside it. So I'm going towards the back, and I'm going to grab the next stitch that's right beside. So I grabbed 1 stitch and then the one right beside. You're going to bring your band through both of the chains on your hook and slide. Fix the leg. You're going to grab the next stitch on the leg, and it's still going sideways. I'm not quite turning yet. Now grabbing the next stitch right below, bring your next band through just your chains on your hook and slide. Now fix the leg, and you're going to see that the stitch is starting to turn. So we're going to put our hook through the chain on the leg and then grab the chain on the body. So if you put your hook straight down, you're going to see where to grab. And bring your band through your chains on your hook and slide. Fixing the leg, I'm still going in the same direction, and I'm going to put my hook through the chain on the leg, and I'm going to grab the next stitch on the body. So I grabbed here, I'm going to grab the next stitch right beside it and bring the band through. And slide. Now fix the leg, and you're going to see that the leg is starting to turn. We're going to put our hook through the chain on the leg and grabbing the band and going in a circle. So I'm going to put my hook straight, and it's going to tell me where to grab. Always let your hook be your guide. Now fix the leg. I'm going in the same straight line now. I'm going to put my hook through the chain on the leg and grab the next chain right beside. Your hook can be your guide where to grab. Fix the leg, see where your chain's going, put your hook through and grab the next chain right above. Now fix the leg. Your leg is starting to turn. I'm going to put my hook through the chain on the leg, put my hook straight down, and my tip of my hook is telling me which chains to grab. My leg's starting to turn. Put the hook straight, and it's telling me where to grab. The next chain. Putting my hook flat. I have 2 more chains left. Put the hook straight. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. And the last. Bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook. And then you want to just check just to make sure that you like the placement. Now we're going to sew on the other leg, and I'm going to find the chain where I need to start. So I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to seam my chain that's going sideways, and I'm going to count 3 stitches to the left. 1, 2, and 3. With your hook, you're going to go from the outside in, just like that, and you're going to find the chain. So here's your magic circle. You're going to go 1 stitch over, and you're going to bring your band through your chain on the body and your chain on the leg. Grab your end and slide. Now put the leg straight up, and you're going to see you have another stitch going sideways. So put your hook like straight up, put your hook through your next chain on the leg and grab your next stitch. Bring your band through both of your chains on your hook and slide. Now you're starting to turn. So put your hook through your next chain on the leg and put your hook straight and grab where your hook is, the tip, and bring it through your chains on your hook and slide. Now when you're sewing this way, it's starting to turn this way, make sure that you're even. So your leg is not up here. Go through the next chain. You want to be in the same area. Let your hook be your guide. Bring it through your chains on your hook and slide. Now just make sure that the legs are, my leg is going too high, so I'm just going to undo that piece. Bring your band through. I'm just going to check again, and that's okay. I'm going to go to the next stitch right beside it. I'm going to grab where my tip of my hook is and bring your band through and slide. Now your leg is starting to turn, so make sure that you are. So put your leg straight towards the body and grab the next stitch. The next stitch, same thing, you want to measure with this side so that you're in the same area. The next stitch. Next stitch right beside. And it's starting to turn. I have 3 more bands. So I'm back to the center area. And the last stitch. You want to make sure that you're doing a slip knot. So bring your band through all of the loops and tie it off, and just make sure that you like the placement. Then after, you can just hide your little slip knots by going through the chains and bring it through. And you can do that to the rest. Now what we're going to do is make the goggle strap, and it's just a little bit bigger than the other minions. So I'm going to do a chain of 33. So I have 10, 20, 30, 3. You're going to take one band and cap this around your hook 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. Now just doing a chain with 33 bands. So your length should be 33 when you're done. So just slide. So just a chain of 33. Make sure it's not twisted. So if your bands are twisted, you want to just make sure that you're fixing them up after. So this is what you should have. If you do have any twisted bands, just untwist your bands just by moving them around. And then it should be straight. Now what we're going to do is attach the strap together. So you want to put your hook through those 3 loops that you made a cap band at the end. You want to make sure that the ring is even to, like, straight, not twisted. So put it flat, form a circle, put your hook through those 3 loops, and now you're going to bring a band through these 2 loops to do a slip stitch. What we're doing is 32 single crochets, and we're going to do a reverse stitch. So take your first band, bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook, grab the end, and then slide. And attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. Now we're going to go reverse. So normally we would go this way. I'm just going to go the opposite way in the center of each of these chains around, just doing a single crochet, bringing 1 band through. And keep an eye on it. Next chain with 1. Keep an eye on it that it's not twisting on you. And the reason why we are doing a reverse stitch is so that when we get back to the end, it's straight. Otherwise, it will be 1 up, 1 down. It won't match up. So just 1 band all the way around. And then we're going to do this 1 more time with a second round. So this is round 2, by the way. This is what's happening so far, what it looks like. You just want to go all the way to your stitch, before your stitch marker. That first band was our first stitch. Did I not count the bands right? My bands. So now you ended at your, sorry about that. Now you ended where your stitch marker is. You want to remove that stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. So going in the same direction, we're going to do 34 single crochets, not 39. I'm sorry about that. So you're going to go in the same direction around, and you're going to start where your your cap band is. So I'm just going to put my hook right through the center of it, the circle, and bring my band through just that cap band on my hook and slide. Now I'm going to find my next stitch, which is right here, excuse me, I'm going to put my hook through. And continuing around. So you should be using 34 bands. Your last band, you're doing a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm just going through the chains all the way around. I'm at the last band. I'm going to bring it through. I'm before the stitch marker. I'm going to bring it through all of the loops that are on my hook and slide. And pull that and remove the stitch marker. You don't need it anymore. And then you can hide all these bands now or after the slip knot now. But this is what you should have. Now to attach the goggles to the eyes to the strap, I'm going to do this at the back. Now if you are using the actual safety eyes, this is where you want to attach them and then just push it through the magic ring. Excuse me. So now you want to find the bottom parts of your goggles, so wherever the bottom is, and this is how you're going to sew them on. I'm going to do 4 slip knots, 2 slip knots to each eye. So have it in the direction that you want. Now I am going to use one eye to cover the center of this slip knot. And I'm going to start on this side. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to go right here. And I'm going to do 2 slip knots on either side of the actual eye. So I'm going to catch a stitch, go through the stitch on the strap, and I'm going to grab a stitch on the actual eye. So I'm going to do one on this side and one on that side. So I'm going to go through the stitches, 2 of the little stitches on the goggle, and then go through another stitch on the actual strap. And bring a white band through, and then do a slip knot. Now I'm going to attach this on the other side, so I'm going to go through a chain on the strap. I think I went too high up. And I'm going to grab a chain on the eye. I might actually grab a couple of chains. And bring your hook through one of the other chains on the strap, the black, and bring a white band through. Do a slip knot. So it's up to you what you want to use, black bands or white bands, that's up to you. You're going to hide these anyways, so you can just go through like a chain on the googly eye, bring your slip knot through, and then just hide it. And then you can just play around with that. And the same thing with the other side. You can just bring it through. But before you do all that, make sure that the goggles are in a good spot before you do all that. So this is the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side, finding the bottom and having it in the same spot, just so those slits that I made on the eyes don't show. And I'm going to do the same thing. Go through a chain on the strap, grab a couple of the stitches, go through a chain on the strap, and bring a white band through all of those stitches and do a slip knot. Same thing, the end, go through a chain, grab a couple of the stitches, go through a chain on the strap, and do a slip knot. So they're right beside each other. Fix the eyes where your bottom, your top. Now I'm going to do 2 single crochets along the side, and I'm going to use white bands. So I'm just going to go right beside here like this, and I'm going to grab just a couple of the stitches here. You want to make sure that the eyes are beside each other, so just fix before you grab 2 stitches on the other side. You don't want to be here. You want to be the same. I'm going to grab two stitches on the other side. And I'm going to bring a band through all of those loops that are on my hook. Grab your end and slide. And we're going to do that one more time. So just a couple of stitches on one side, put it flat with the other, and grab 2 of the stitches. And you're going to bring a band through all of the stitches that are on your hook and do a slip knot. Both ends, and tie off. And just check, and it should look like this. And then you can just hide all these slip knots between all the stitches. Now we're going to thread our beads, and these beads are for his robe. So it depends on you how many you would like to use. I did every 3rd stitch here on the top, the same as the bottom, and every 2nd on the sides. So if you want to use less, by all means, well, that's up to you. If you don't have the beads, I'm going to show you how to do that with the rubber bands, getting the black. You're going to need a total of 39. So to start off with the bands, you're going to take a single black, and I would wrap this around your hook twice, then grab both ends, and then wrap again, so you have the 4 loops on your hook. So one more time, wrap it twice around your hook, hold on to it, twist, and then add back to your hook, so you have 4 loops. And then you can slide this onto a white band, just like that, and remove and put to the side. So that's if you are using the bands. Now for the beads, you need a piece of string, piece of dental floss. This is the stretchy string from the when you're beading bracelets. So what you want to do is put your end of your string through the rubber band, grab the other end, make sure it's even, hold it close to the ends, both ends, and then bring it through the black bead. Now the beads, I'm using a small E bead. If you have a 3mm bead, that would look nice too. Anything bigger than a 3mm, I'm not too sure. That's up to you. You're going to have to try that out. So you can pause the video. You need a total of 39.